everybody, today I'm going to be doing my December wrap-up and my January TBR. December has been a very, very nice reading month for me because, of course, winter break is happening. So that means 4 weeks of pretty much reading time for me. So that's what I've been doing these past 4 weeks, is reading as many books as I can, which although isn't a full library books, which I would have hoped it would have been, still is 5 books that I read this month. And I usually read like 3 to 4 books a month, so getting to read 1 extra is still pretty good on my, I don't even know the word. It's still really good. So I'm gonna share with you what I read in December, which are pretty good books, except one of them, which I'm gonna talk about because I just didn't feel this one book this month and it was just kind of disappointing. And I want to know if you guys felt the same way about this book too. And then I'll be telling you guys what I'm reading in January, the first month of the new year, which I'm really excited about. And I'll also be announcing what book we're going to be reading for the abookutopia book club book of the month for January. And I'm super excited about it because it's one of my highly anticipated reads of 2016. So without further ado, let's get started. So the month of December started off with a bang because the first book I read was extraordinary, and that is Wolf by Ryan Groden. This book is an alternate history where instead of the Allied powers winning World War II, the Nazis do. Not good. Hitler, no, nuh-uh. It takes place in this horrible world where, you know, Hitler lives and he thrives off of the pain of others. And it's about this girl who can shapeshift, and she is put on a mission to go and assassinate Hitler. It's amazing. This book is so spectacular. I loved it, and I hope you guys love it too if you've read it or if you want to read it. If you're on the edge of reading this book, if you're like, should I read it, should I not? You should. You should read this book. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. Okay, so the next book I read in the month of December was a huge book, but totally worth every single page I read of it, which is all 800 pages. It was huge and so worth it. And that is Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. Oh, so freaking good. It is not my favorite book in the series. My favorite book still remains Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. But it comes in at a close second because it is an amazing book that made me cry a lot and smile a lot, but cry a lot too. And I have a feeling I'll be crying even more in the next book, so yay! The next book I read in December was the abookutopia book club book of the month, which was Soundless by Rochelle Mead for our Rochelle Mead month. And it was such a good book. It's about a girl who lives at the top of a mountain with her village, and the village, everybody in it, is deaf, including her, until one day she wakes up and she can hear. And she uses this as her weapon against the village down below on the ground, who is decreasing their food shipments and making life for the villagers up on the mountain hell. So it's such a good book. I really enjoyed it. I gave it a 3.75 out of 5 stars. It is a standalone fantasy novel, which you do not see that often, so it was very interesting to read, and it was based off of Chinese folklore, which was definitely really cool because I've never read a novel about Chinese folklore before, but now I have, so yes. The next book I read in the month of December, I was about to say January, but we're not there yet. Sasha, calm down. Still December. And that is Conspiracy of Blood and Smoke by Anne Blankman. This book is the second book and the last book in the duology, which starts off with Prisoner of Night and Fog, and I really love that first book, and I sadly did not like the second book as much as I liked the first book, but it was still very good. It takes place in World War II about this girl who is Hitler's niece, and it's about her falling in love with a Jewish reporter and their adventures going on and, you know, all the crappy stuff that happens in World War II. And it's just such a good book, and it shows like the love that can exceed boundaries of that time period. And it was just so good, and the second book was really good as well. It was just kind of slow in the middle, but still spectacular nonetheless. And I was kind of sad knowing it was only a duology. I thought it was a trilogy, so I was midway through this book, and then I tweeted Anne Blankman being like, hey, is this gonna be like another book, or is this just like it? She's like, oh, it's just it. And I'm like, I was not prepared to hear that. I thought it was gonna be another book, so I had to get mentally prepared to finish the series because I thought that this was gonna be just the second book, not the last one, which I'm kind of sad about because I really love this series. It was so good. I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars. Okay, so the last book I read this month was a complete flop for me. I didn't like it. I didn't, and I was really sad about that because I had so many high expectations going into it, and then it all crumbled around me. I did watch the movie midway through reading the book, which is something I usually don't do, but I kind of needed that boost to finish the book, so I ended up watching the movie midway through, and that book is Love, Rosie, and also the movie Love, Rosie as well by the same name. Love, Rosie was an excellent movie. The movie was spectacular, I loved it, but the book, about 200 pages into it, I lost interest because it was very sluggish and slow, and the way it was written, which was in letters, handwritten letters, emails, and direct messages, was very hard to follow at points because you miss certain like gaps of time, and I felt like I didn't like it, not because of the writing style, because I did actually enjoy it, but just because of the length. I did not feel like it had to be 420 pages. Maybe 300 pages max, just not the extra 100. It was very slow in the middle, which kind of ruined it for me and also made me dislike Alex, who's the main guy character. I ended up not liking him at the end because I'm like, dude, you just annoyed me way too much in this book because of all the things that it went down, and then Rosie's character kind of just got less important to me, and it just went on for too long, and I ended up not liking it at the end. And whenever I read contemporary novels, it's very rare, but whenever I do, I always am very picky with which ones I read. And I was going into this novel with high expectations, but kind of sadly flopped. You know what? You're not gonna like every book you're gonna read, so just have to keep on telling myself that and put this away with a 2.75 out of 5-star rating. Anyways, moving on to what books I'll be reading in January in the new year of 2016. Hello from the past because you're watching this in the future. It's 2015 still, but not anymore when you're watching this. Ooh, Inception. Okay, so anyways, the first book I'll be reading in January, but actually I already started reading this novel because I could not read it right away, because when I saw it on the bookshelf, I did not know it was out already. I thought it was coming out in January, not December, so I bought it right away and read it right away, and I'm not done with it yet. I'm only like a few chapters in, but I'm already loving it. So without further ado, what is this mystery book? Well, it is Oblivion by Jennifer L. Armentrout. You guys know I'm such a big fan of her books, and I'm so happy she created Oblivion. Oblivion is Obsidian, which is the first book in the Lux series, but from Damon's point of view, because Obsidian is from Katie's point of view, but you do not get to see Damon's point of view of it in the first few novels. You get to see more of his point of view in the later books, but not in the first 2 or 3 novels. And so getting to see his point of view in the first book, in Oblivion, is so awesome. So I'm currently reading that right now, and it's really nice getting to relive the story through Damon's eyes because it's a new point of view, and it kind of makes the book new for me, even though it's one of my favorite books in existence. And I've always wished that I could reread it for the very first time, and right now I kind of can, and it's so cool, and I'm loving it, and it's so great. So definitely will be giving it a 5 out of 5 stars, I bet. I'm just saying, I probably will. Moving on, I'll be reading The Martian by Andy Weir because my dad already read it, and my older sister Jenny already read it, and now I just need to read it because they already read it, and I need to read it. And then I get to watch the movie with my dad, and we're gonna review the book together in a video, I hope, before I leave for college in a week and a half again. So definitely need to read this in the next few days. Super excited about it. It's about a guy who gets stranded on Mars. Yeah, same dude, same. That happens to me all the time. All the time. And the next book I'll be reading in January is yes, I'll be reading Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. Super excited to be reading this, but also really sad because it's the second to last book in the series, and this is the first time I'm ever reading Harry Potter, and it will be the last time because I can't reread it and have it be new to me, and it's kind of sad knowing that, so I'm savoring it, but I also really want to read it. But I'm savoring it. I'm holding myself off to 1 Harry Potter book a month until February, because February is when I'm going to be reading the last book, and I'm really sad about that, but you know what? I'm going to savor it and be happy that I get to read it with fresh eyes for the very first time while it lasts. So yes, I'll be reading this in January. I'm so excited and sad. I'm sad happy about it. Okay, and the last book I'll be reading in January is the abookutopia Book Club Book of the Month, which I'm super excited for because it's one of my most highly anticipated reads of 2016. It just sounds amazing. Super pumped about it, and that is, without further ado, Curio by Evangeline Denmark. Okay, so I'm gonna be reading off the summary on the book because I've tried to summarize it multiple times, but I don't do it justice, so I'll be reading it off of here. So, story time with Sasha. Let's get started. So Gray Howard always tried to stay unnoticed, at least as unnoticed as a tall, strong girl can be in a town of diminutive, underdeveloped citizens. She detests the chemists, the magician, scientists who rule her small western town, but she obediently takes the potion the chemists ration out, a concoction that is supposed to help her and the rest of the township survive each day. Her best friend, Wit, is caught by chemist enforcers, and Gray feels everything shift inside her, especially after Wit is severely punished for reasons that go beyond his minor infraction. Little does Gray know her growing defiance has a greater meaning, and when her rebellion leads her to the family shop one night, a treaty is accidentally broken. Gray then finds herself transported to a world within an ancient curio cabinet where porcelain figures are real, and a strange man known as the Mad Hawk beckons to her. To escape, she must find a key, one that could end the chemic's dark rule forever. Ooh! I'm so excited about this book, guys. It sounds so unique and different and really cool, and I'm really curious to see how it's gonna end up. So if you guys want to check out this book or any of the books I mentioned in this video today, I'll be linking all the links down below. And if you want to join Reagan and I for the Utopia Book Club book of the month of January, which is Curio, like I just said before, which is in my hands, definitely go check out the link below, purchase it, and read it with us because it comes out January 4th. So that is all for my wrap up and TBR video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know down below what books you will be reading in the month of January and what has been your favorite book you read in December. Please let me know all of that fun stuff down below in the comments. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!